Alright. This is Destrio with the Shadow Ravens clan, bringing you another war recap. And this one happens to be versus the IronSoldiers. As you can see, we're doing alright. And this one was actually a pretty decent war. Thank you, Alex, for the troops. And I'm just going to roll down through here, show some attacks from each side. This is a Gref going against their number one, of course, with his traditional loon attack, dropping his loons, dropping his hounds, dropping his loons right behind them. His clan castle on the right hand side, the queen's side, he then rages. Not too early. I mean, timing is everything with the loon attack. Even if you have a hard time with some of these things, the timing is the thing that you need to work on. So when you're practicing your war attacks ahead of time, practice the timing and the order that you're dropping everything. As you can see, Town Hall is still left standing, still the queen and the king down there, but he lets his minions and pups clean up the top part of the base. And you can see there's still a witch flying around there. Let's fast forward a little bit to see what's going on. Drops his king and his queen, and luckily there is a dark elixir collector there, and kind of draws his king and queen towards the center. The king and queen bust their way through, knock down the town hall, and a couple extra buildings here to grab the valuable 2-star on their number one. And that's how it's done. Well done, Gref. Alright, and then again, just going to check out number 2. This is going to be Valerian, the trader, versus their number 2. And he's coming in with a quad golem attack, busted in from the top hand side, loses his first set of wall breakers to a mortar. So you definitely got to be careful where you place him there. Nice and patient on his golems there, letting him do a little bit of work, letting him soak up some of that damage to see where he places his troops. And then he drops his wizards and P.E.K.K.A.s, trying to get them to the center. One of the P.E.K.K.A goes around. Generally speaking, I like when that happens, just so that kind of ensures your 2-star when you got that P.E.K.K.A circling the base. Does not pull the clan castle troops. In other words, he's fighting the clan castle in the center of the base, which normally is not always the best thing. If you can pull on a Town Hall 10, you almost always have to. So basically, you can either control the fight with a pull, or you can kind of see what happens. So it's not always possible to pull on Town Hall 10, but if you have the opportunity, I would always recommend it, either with loons or with hogs or giants or whatever, whatever is viable. So there was a nice 2 from Valerian the trader, and now we're going to go down, show you some Town Hall 9 attacks. And this one is Alex, and he's taking on number 20. So kind of attacking down a little bit, but he does a Laloon attack, a cold blood Laloon attack. So what a cold blood is an attack using 1 golem and a few wizards, maybe some other ground troops like a witch, and also your royals. In this case, he does not have a king because it's upgrading, and the entire goal of a cold blood is to take out the opposing queen and an air defense, making your Laloon attack easier. So he also has a lightning spell to assist with the clan castle troops. It's very effective. mission accomplished here. He has the queen down, he has an air defense down, and they're still doing work. So now he sends in his hounds from the side that he started his attack on, and then it was just a balloon parade behind them. So as the balloon parade comes in, he just rages as needed. Now I would probably drop the loons first, let them get a little bit of distance, and then drop in the hounds, just because then he wouldn't have so much damage on the hounds. However, this base had pretty weak air defense, so so it didn't matter as much. As you can see, he's just systematically running through the base. It wasn't an overdeveloped base, but it was a very unique situation and a pretty good cold blood. So for those who are starting off on new attacks that they're not used to, I always recommend attacking down. Make sure you get the order right and the just, you know, the concept down before you use it on a harder base, simply because you have 2 attacks and more, so you don't want to waste an attack. So basically, for our clan, for Town Hall 8s, if you don't 3-star base, you would just waste an attack, and if you don't 3-star the majority of the Town Hall 9s, that's also a wasted attack. So let's say you get a 2-star attack on number 15, we tell you nice try, simply because we're gonna have to use another attack to clean that base up. So if your clan is happy and content with 2-star attacks, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. If that's what your goal is, if you guys are casual players. However, if you are a more serious clan, then you can't be content with 2-star attacks. So this is, you know, from the top down. You should be actually from the bottom up. Let's say you're used to 3-starring all the Town Hall 8s and 2-starring all the Town Hall 9s, and that's your standard. I would highly encourage you to change the mindset. We've had several players say, hey, I can't 3-star these bases, and they've put in just a little bit more time, a little bit more prep than they're used to, asked a few more questions in clan chat or in KKO chat. That's the chat program that we use, and anyway, they put in a little bit extra time and effort, and they end up with a clear, and it has changed the dynamic of our clan, and it's been really the best thing for us. It's a lot more fun for everyone. It's so fun to clear a good base. So I mean, of course, the downside is you face a little bit of frustration, right, whenever you don't clear a base that you think you can or think you should be, but in general it's so worth it, just because it's fun. It is, to get that first clear and to get that high of just attacking. If you're like me, then when you make these attacks, you just get a high, an adrenaline rush, and that's why I war. That's why I play this game, just to war. So if you're like me, then maybe you should see what Shadow Ravens is about. Maybe join up with us. But anyway, here's another clear I wanted to show you. Town Hall 8. I want to make sure I get the right one here. Alright, and this is Puma. This guy has really been fantastic. He kind of attacks like his brother. He's got 2 golems side by side. Typically I like to spread those guys out a little bit more, just to soak up some more of the damage, and this way they're not taking splash damage together. Now when I say that, that also means I also understand that golems can easily absorb splash damage, that they're not really taking much for it, but he's got a great spell combination, and he's just going to march through this base. And as you can see what's going on here, he's got the golems tanking, and he also has witches the skeletons from the witches tanking as well. And then usually on a Town Hall 8, you also use your king kind of as another golem. He's more, in my mind, a P.E.K.K.A. than he is a golem, simply because he paths more like a P.E.K.K.A. does. But you're going to really see the wizards are the backbone of any Go army. So in other words, if you're doing a Go Wee Wee or unless you're doing a Hogo Wee Wee, which your hogs are the primary focus of your army, then generally speaking, the wizards are going to be the primary focus of your army. Now that can also change depending on if you decide, if you're going to go 10 or more witches, then of course the skeletons are the focal point of your army, and you want to focus around that. But just that's something to think about. Whenever you're building your army, what is the primary focus of that army? Is it my P.E.K.K.A.s? Is it my witches? Is it my wizards? What is the thing that you need to keep alive to clear this base? And the majority of the time, that's going to be your wizards. So P.E.K.K.A.s are a great support troop, particularly going around the outside, or if you funnel correctly, you can take it right to the inside of a base. It really depends on what the goal is of that troop, and once that troop has reached that point, has done their mission in the battle, that's where you need to see, hey, that's where you can path things out, plan attacks out. Let's say you want your P.E.K.K.A.s to get to the center of the base, get the town hall. You got to factor things in like skeleton traps and things like that. That's why I don't like P.E.K.K.A.s in the center, particularly because people use Teslas in the center. But also just a lot of things to think about. Anyway, that's about the end of this video. So Destrio with the Shadow Ravens clan signing off, hoping to bring you to the next level.